You.
Me?
Yeah, you did it. Yeah.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to another edition of the Can I Talk My Shift podcast. Podcast where we talk about emotional intelligence, personal accountability, and enhancing your
Life. Yes, this is the number one place for emotional management and emotional intelligence, y'all. So we welcome you with open arms, open mind, and most importantly, an open heart.
I am LaShawn G. This is my main man squeeze host, Samuel Walker.
Sam Walker Inspo on all platforms. What it do, what the business is, what it be like.
Happy day, evening, night to you. Before we get into it, let us just give you
a first. Happy day, evening, night. Happy day.
Yeah. Before we get into it, we do want to say, if you have been loving these episodes, if you have been watching these episodes, if you've been listening to these episodes on the audio platforms everywhere, please take a moment to leave a review. All right. Give us 5 stars. Let us know that you care. Share this podcast out to all your people who you know got some emotional management to work on, and subscribe to the platform so you know when we download an episode, when we upload an episode, so you can download it. And comment down below. Leave us questions. We like to go back and forth and see everyone's comments, see what people are thinking about the podcast, what they're thinking about the video. If they want to leave some questions, some topics for us to talk about, we love that. So keep doing what you do. And yes, we appreciate you for that.
The comment box is yours. Feel free to roam around. Check it out. Fill it with words, sentences even. Yeah. Sentences directed towards us. That way we can respond to you in the comment box.
What's up, love?
What's up, yo?
As you can see, we're a little bit giddy and maybe even a little bit delirious. But it's just us, you know. Today we are doing this episode because, you know, we're keeping it light because we have had a week of all weeks. Let's just say that. And so this is our outlet, right? This is where we come to like let our hair down, take a breather, decompress. And one thing that I feel like we should talk about today is accountability.
Okay. Accountability. We putting something on the table? Or we just...
Yeah. We're going to talk about accountability as it pertains to mental health. You know, when we talk about emotional management and emotional intelligence and enhancing those aspects of those things, we are ultimately talking about mental health because it starts from the inside out. Mental health starts from the inside out. You cannot be clear out here in the world and you all messy up in here and up in here. So that's what I feel like, you know, because of the week we had, I think it's important to just kind of let it out.
Okay. So what aspect of self-accountability do you want to touch on? It's a lot of different aspects, you know.
What do you mean?
It's a spectrum on self-accountability. Are we talking about accountability in the relationship with self-accountability where it involves someone else, and is that other person a family member? Is it a romantic partner? Is it a child? Is it a business colleague? Or is there self-accountability for information that you're spreading, knowing that it does not have a credible source? There's a lot of different ways that we can approach self-accountability in different, situations, raising situational awareness. What dynamic do you want to touch on today?
I think we should touch on the aspect of accountability in regards to, I would say, relationships in general,
Okay.
I think that with everything that we've experienced, we've had to keep each other in check and afloat, right?
Yeah.
Making sure that we're in our good mind state, that we are acknowledging the things that we've experienced in our life. But I also think we've had to acknowledge the accountability that hasn't been present in a lot of aspects of experiences we've had.
Boy,
So, yes, accountability in regards to relationships with family and friends, your partner, your colleagues.
Okay.
That's what I want to talk about.
Hey, so check this out, yo. I love that, by the way. I love what you're saying. I love where we're going with the conversation. To you out there in video land, audio land, if you're listening, if you're watching, if you're doing both, in the car, on your laptop, on your phone, in your headphones, on a Bluetooth speaker, I want to put this out as a challenge to anyone listening, because we've already challenged ourselves in this manner. I challenge you to create a better vetting process on giving people attention in your life. New people, newcomers in your life. I challenge you to create a superb vetting process.
Yes.
So that way, this self-accountability thing can really hit home.
And really start from the inside out.
Yeah. Because a lot of the times what I'm realizing is, man, we be looking for someone to put that blame on, and we never really turn to ourselves and be like, man, I knew that wasn't going to work.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that right there was that one red flag that I just decided to, you know what I'm saying? So maybe we need to talk about vetting processes a little bit.
Watching out for the red flags.
Or the black flags, the very neutral flags, or the white flags.
Where do we start?
The white flags, yo. So we had a week. We've had a very interesting couple of months. And we got sent on a roller coaster, right? On a roller coaster. As you all may know, if you follow us on all of our platforms, if you've been following us for a while, we're advocates of improving self, which improves mental health. Mm-hmm. In the mental health space, when people talk about being mental health advocates, it's a very broad term. And so what we like to touch on is the role that we play in our own suffering and our own detriment to our own mental health, right? Mm-hmm. Working, like Bay said, from the inside out. That is where we like to harp on and focus. And what I realized throughout this process over these last 3 months is that when you start to talk to certain people about them being mental health advocates, they tend to have a different approach, a different view on mental health. And that view tends to be outside in. And so I just want you to follow us for a second, because this can show you right out the gate if you align with somebody or not. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of what we talk about, we're going to express to you that we did not align with a certain opportunity. But looking back, the approaches were completely different.
Right.
And we were trying to see if there was a way to synergize in our I don't know what you would call that. It's not like it's not like we didn't agree. It's just different perspectives, different points of view, different vantage points.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so I think using this example will kind of open up that door for us expressing like how we can vet certain instances, certain opportunities that we get, right? Whether that's in the workplace, if you're working for a company or if you're an entrepreneur, and really figuring out if there's a synergy there and if it really makes sense to do what you're doing versus taking a shot in the dark, hoping that it's, you'll land somewhere on the bullseye.
Right. And when we do that, we have to, again, start from the inside out. So even when you are vetting someone, you're vetting some opportunity, you have to be sure that from an internal standpoint, one, does it feel good to you? Does it align with your morals and values? Does it make sense for the season that you're in? You could not be in a season to take on an opportunity, and that's okay. It's not that it doesn't align, but might not be the season for you.
Yeah. Let's go deeper.
So how you want to go deeper?
Is it not aligning because you're moving, you don't really know where you're moving from? So do you know what you have on your hands? Do you know the value that you really contribute into the space that you want to work in?
That's a good one.
Because then that'll allow you to understand how your approach is to the said opportunity or relationship. Because sometimes we stop right there at that point that you're saying. But when we go a little deeper, I feel that it's important to do that because we need to know the headspace that we are in when we approach these things day in and day out.
Right.
Some of us really think when we get the opportunity, we internalize that as this is my only shot. So I gotta make it work, which then puts us in a mindset of lack, disparity, and you start to make desperate decisions.
Right.
Which then causes you to not see things as they are, but you project and you start to see things as you want them to be. And this is where self-accountability can get really tough.
Right.
And that's what I mean by the different layers and levels.
Yeah.
Because what you said is important. It's super important, right? But we gotta work our way from the inside out to that point. So I challenge you to really ask yourself specific questions like, what do I think about myself and how I contribute to the change that I want to make in the world? Simply flat out right there. Am I approaching this as someone else, or am I approaching it from my own understanding? Do I think I'm valuable enough to make change or contribute to change in a space?
Which is a worthiness conversation.
Right. Have I really been doing my homework to learn about the space so that way I can contribute to conversations or change? And am I doing this for me, or am I doing this to be of service? And either one is okay, but you got to be real with you. We got to be real with ourselves.
Right. If we're not brutally honest with where we are.
Yeah.
If our mindset is in the space to receive that we are seeking, and if we are looking for some external validation or if we are looking at the internal validation. Are we looking at ourselves and saying, I can do this?
Yeah.
I absolutely can have the space, hold the space, be in the space of said opportunity.
Yeah.
Whether it's this relationship with this person, this partnership, this company, this enterprise, whatever. Are we looking for the external validation of other people saying, yes, you can do it? Or are we looking to ourselves and saying, I got this.
And this is what I want to do.
Right.
You know?
I'm committing to it.
Yeah, definitely. I think, like you said, it really all boils back to self at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're having the time of your life or you're having the complete opposite. You know, it all is perspective and how you internalize things. Because whatever you internalize, you will express at some point.
Right.
You know? So, yeah, I challenge not only, you know, the listeners and the viewers, but us as well. You know, I always challenge us to do these things, to do that real good inner work every day, man. It's not just you do it at one point and then that's it. You know, you got to vet yourself too.
Right. When you're talking about, hey, is this thing right for me? You have to look in the mirror and say, am I really right for this?
Yeah.
And that's not coming from a lack perspective. It's coming from a, you know, have I done my homework? Have I done my due diligence to be in the space as the 100% authentic person I need to be?
Yeah.
Or am I going to walk in this space with a mask on? Yeah. Am I going to show people what I think they want to see? Or am I going to show people who I am, what I offer, and a way that I can bring value to them?
Absolutely, yo. 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
That accountability really, and vetting from the inside out,
It empowers you. Yes. It empowers you. I think there's a lot of so this is not, I don't even know what to call it. Look, this is just my own beliefs, my own thoughts on this, my own understanding from just reflecting on my own life. But I think that when you are looking at your vetting processes, you're looking at the challenges that you're facing, again, on all spectrums, from an outside in, meaning that everything external is affecting you internally, it puts you in a victimhood mindset. Yeah. It makes you the victim. Whereas when you come from the inside out, and while we're giving you all of these tools and these questions to ask yourself, because it puts you back in the driver's seat of empowerment, of true self embodiment, but also empowering yourself to really understand that, you know, a lot of how you view the world is really the cause. It's not really the other people. You know, some people say, well, nah, the world can make you mad. It's like, not really though. I know that's hard to really embody and understand, but truth be told, it is really your reference point for how you think you should be responding to the thing that's coming in. Where if someone taught you a million other responses except for the one that you default to, you would have a better understanding. And then you would have the selection or the choice to choose how you want to respond. Right. Which gives you ultimate power in a situation. Right. If you don't have to default to one thing that you learned on how to respond when you were a child.
Right. I think we all, at some point or another in our lives, have put ourselves in victim mode, put ourselves in the victim driver's seat. And for whatever reason, maybe we
put
didn't
yourself in the
have
passenger seat of your own car. It's wild.
right.
That's wild.
Like maybe you didn't have the verbiage. Maybe you didn't have the language to really know I'm making myself a victim.
Mm-hmm.
But as you have different experiences, as you talk to different people, as you learn, as you gain knowledge of really what that looks like, you now are in a position. And when I say gaining knowledge, I mean, you're talking to you're if you've experienced a traumatic event, you've sought out therapy. You've sought out talking to somebody else other than yourself to gain other perspective. And when you've done that, if you haven't looked at a situation and said, okay, yeah, I've been putting myself in this victim mode for a minute.
Yeah.
How can I look at this from a perspective of, this is my experience. This is how I used to respond to it. I understand how that makes me the victim. I'm going to shift because that is not an empowering state. I'm going to shift to an empowering state and say, this XYZ thing happened in my life. I had this experience in my life. And the way I'm choosing to respond now is acknowledge that it was a part of my life, a part of an experience that I had, and know that going forward, I don't have to accept that as victim. I can accept that it was an experience, and I can accept that I have learned better, and therefore I am going to be better.
Come on, man. Come on, babe. Let them know. Every book wouldn't be a book if there wasn't a few bad chapters.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And we all got them. We all have them. Bad chapters create all of the baggage that we have to deal with, that we have to unpack and grow from.
Yeah.
And I think that we'd be a pretty boring race of humans if we just looked at everybody's baggage, or maybe not boring, but maybe drama filled.
Yeah.
Drama filled indeed. And some people like that. Some people thrive in that. It's horrendous to me, the amount of people that exist, and I don't know any exact numbers, but that exist and just thrive in the drama and the victimhood.
Yeah.
And don't realize they themselves can get out of it.
Yeah, because, you got to think, there may not be anybody there to challenge it.
Right.
And it's like a switch at some point, but some people's switch doesn't switch on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, even in the mental health space of advocacy, it's like you see a lot of that.
Yeah.
If you just listen to how people tell their stories, you can tell if they're one of those people who deal with the victimhood mindset, or if they're like, I take responsibility, and they're able to say, I take responsibility for this part and that part, and not that part. They're able to separate the two. All of that's real work.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that we, experienced someone who wasn't able to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's what if you experience an experience that there is a person in your life that you're seeing the signs of, what do you call it? Victimhood, an excuse for everything, then you know that it's time for you to do an audit. I always say do an audit, take inventory, because at the end of the day, we all should be in circles that feed us. We all should be in circles that help us that challenge us to be better and do better. But really be better, because when we be better, we do better.
Be better.
When we, guys, if we could tell you this story, I'm not going to go there. How the ever. What I will say is, really it is about being your best self. Because if you're so hooked on do this, you start to show your representative. You start to do things based on what you think people want and what you think is going to make people happy. And, I really speak a lot now in mindset from a former people pleaser's perspective. And that is the number one way that you get sucked into people pleasing, is you're trying to do and force things to happen in a way that might be to your detriment, but you're not even focused on that. You're so focused on making the other person comfortable and happy and be agreeable with them and give them what you think they want, versus just asking, what do you want?
Yeah.
This is what I have to offer. Does this work with you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, that's my little take on just accountability from the inside.
Hey, I don't mean to cut you off, love.
It's all good.
I'm going to have a real transparent moment with y'all because I care about y'all. I care about people who rock with us because we rock with them, who rocking with us, we rocking with them. You know what I'm saying? We are really trying our best to dance around a situation that happened with us. Not for any other reason except that there is a lesson in everything that you go through.
Mm-hmm.
So we're kind of dancing. And so if you feel like, it sounds like they're touching on something, but they not really driving the point home, it's for that reason. Just full-blown transparency, right? We went through something. It's been going on for the last 3 months, and it didn't pan out how we thought it was going to pan out.
Mm-hmm.
The signs were there. We had conversations amongst ourselves, and we still chose to hang in there and see it all the way through, just for the representation of our brand.
Mm-hmm.
And the impact that we foresaw that we would be able to have on a specific set of group within the mental health arena and space. And so I think right now what we're dealing with is the fact that it's less about what was done to us and more about how the people who deserve to be impacted would not. We can't say that they won't be impacted. They just won't be impacted by us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
And so that's why we're having this conversation of having better vetting processes or improving your vetting processes. And the reason why you shouldn't or how you can improve your vetting process is improving how you vet yourself through self-accountability.
Right.
There we go.
And integrity. If you don't have integrity, you really are just going to disappoint. You're going to end up disappointing someone else anyway. But moreover, you're going to disappoint yourself. Mm-hmm. So I think that's our driving message is, really take a moment to analyze the relationships that you have. Make your yes, your no. If you are not coming from a space of honesty and authenticity and transparency, let people know. Let somebody know. Let yourself know first, but let those that you are interacting with No, so they know how to go about the situation, like go about the experience in the way that works for them. You know, you got to give people the option to choose if you have a shaky foundation and you're still trying to interact and work with them. If there are things that are prohibiting you from delivering on what you say you're going to deliver, on how you are going to commit in said relationship, let those people know. Like, be honest with them, because if you're not honest, it's going to come out. And it may not come out soon. It may come out later. It may come out very immediately. It may, depending on the relationships that you're trying to create and cultivate. But just be in a space where you are open and you see the possibility of holding yourself accountable so that you can serve others from a very authentic place.
Yes. And just to add on to that, there is an obscene amount of strength in truth.
Mm-hmm.
And there is, on the very opposite end, an obscene amount of weakness in lying and omitting. And so if you're the type of person who's dealing with struggling to get the truth out, not for any other reason except the funnel in which you're trying to tell the story or tell the scenario or the circumstance, and you've actually like perfected it to where it has to come out in a perfected way, that right there should let you know that you have an issue with telling the truth. Because a lot of the times, majority of the times, the truth is very simple.
Right.
And so when we have these elaborate stories and we have these elaborate explanations for things, that's a sign.
Right.
It is. It's a sign. Now, are there some stories that need context? For sure. But every single story, though? I don't know. If you tend to exaggerate a lot, that's a sign.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sign. You know, especially if you're one of those people who can feel like when you're carrying weight, usually it's the weight of your own decisions.
Yes. Yes.
People wear the weight of their decisions, you know, and we'll save that for another episode. But people wear the weight of their decisions, and it actually shows physically.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I just wanted to say, there is so much strength in truth that it's actually like your ego almost is afraid.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, it's the weirdest thing, you know, and that's kind of diving into the whole spiritual aspect of mental health challenges or challenges with mental health and things like that, you know, so I won't get too deep this episode, but yeah, there's strength in truth. And the thing that we all need to figure out and practice is, how do we just tell it? How do we just tell it and tell it instead of trying to story tell it? Just tell it.
Yeah. Tell
it first. And then once you tell it, then you can kind of tweak it as it needs to be tweaked for a specific, to garner a specific emotional response.
I think, though, we also have to remind people, you know, even in telling a hard truth, there's a way to do it all. You know, you can tell the truth. When you tell the truth, it's a good idea to, you know, come from a place of love. You know, just because you come out and say something and blurt it out and you're so blatant and you're saying to yourself, well, that's just the way I am. But did you have to have like no tact? Probably not.
Yeah.
You know, there's a way to express yourself to someone, telling a truth, sharing the truth with someone, even if it's a hard truth, even if it's going to, you know, cause maybe some friction. The friction will probably be there for this amount of time versus if you come out and if you just blurt it out without regard to how anyone is going to take it, how they feel about it, that can be to a point where it's unforgivable.
Yo, be honest.
Just be honest.
So when I say that now, to add on to your point, be honest with being honest. Meaning, if someone did something to you and now you want to address it and it's your friend, but you're not really good with addressing things that make you feel a certain way, say that before you actually talk about the thing that you're addressing. Example, yo, I'm not really good with confronting things. So I'm going to try to do the best that I can with this right now because I rock with you. But you did do something that rubbed me the wrong way. And so I'm going to just allow me to talk through it because I'm not really good in this space. Honesty. But we be trying to front like we're supposed to know and have tact, but we ain't never done it before.
Right.
Be honest. You know what I'm saying? Be honest. Yo, man, I am furious right now. I'm so furious. I can't even listen. I need a moment. And I'm going to come back to you and finish this conversation.
Right.
That's an honest thing. If a person tries to keep you in that so that way you can just burst, then that person's not for you because they're not trying to hear in the right manner.
Right. They
want to be able to have something to use against you later.
They're not open to the possibility of having a hard conversation with love.
Right. So be honest about your honesty. It's work.
Yes.
It is work. But it's beautiful work, man. You know what I'm saying?
It really is. It does. It actually does bring people together when you are honest in all facets and you're coming from a place of love. You are considering the other person's feelings. You're considering the other person's situation. I mean, even if you're looking at this from a work standpoint, you know, if you're just honest, you don't have to shed all of the details, all of the little ins and outs and nuances of whatever it is. Just be honest. And if you come from a place of this is what I know, this is what I don't know, at least the person will be that who is receiving the information will be like, you know, they'll have a moment in their head where they can show compassion. They'll give you some grace because you're laying it all out on the line. You're laying out, here's what it is. You know, I messed up, whatever the case may be. I said this, but I really meant that.
Yeah.
I said this, but instead it was that.
And then you have to go into why. Don't just say I did this, but I really meant this. Because what that does to the other person is it leads them to believe that you're going to do it again because you haven't explained to them how you're going to correct it. But if somebody comes in and comes right behind you and asks you, so how you going to correct that? Don't you internalize it as the person who did it wrong as, oh, you trying to treat me like a child. See, that's that give and take. Because
we all have room for growth.
Right.
There's always room to grow in every situation, every single one.
If you don't know, you don't know. Say that you don't know But then also add on that caveat, which is, but I'm willing to learn it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to learn it.
When we have open minds and open hearts,
Yeah, man.
we receive really good stuff.
It ain't all love and light, yo. Over
really?
here. I got on this yellow, but I got black on my head.
It's not all love and
Ain't
light.
all love and light, man.
You know,
Hear that?
We got fire in us. Sometimes we have to put out all of the emotions, the good ones and the ones that, you know, might hurt your feelings.
Gotta have balance.
You have to.
You know
it really is about balance.
Yeah, it's just balanced, you know, and you can allow yourself to polarize to one side for a little bit and then head on back to center. You know
I really think that when we're talking about these relationships, that we have to remember, you know, we're committing in every relationship we have with our partners, with our families, with the people that are our closest friends, the people that we work and do business with. We are committing to that relationship.
Yeah.
Whatever amount of time, whatever amount of energy, whatever amount of resources, we are committing. So if we're going to commit, if you're going to put yourself in a position where you are voluntarily committing to put your time, energy, and resources into a relationship with someone or some entity, the least you can do is go in with full transparency and honesty, because you don't want to end up being upset and trying to project all your emotions on this other side if something goes awry. You have to be able to say, all right, well, I did put in this time. I did give this, I don't know, amount of money. I did provide this service.
Mm-hmm.
I chose to do that. So next time, if another opportunity comes in my pathway, I'll be a little more discerning.
There you go. Always figure out how you can improve from said situations that didn't pan out the best way. Mm-hmm. Didn't pan out in your favor. Maybe everything fell through, or it couldn't even, it doesn't have to be a bad situation. It's like, yo, it just didn't align. Mm-hmm. You know, but asking yourself those questions to take the accountability so that way you can move forward better as a better person, a better human being, with better discernment for the next road or challenge I'm at.
Yeah. The next experience.
I don't say roadblock, but ain't too many blocks out here.
The next experience.
There you go. So I think this is cool.
Yeah.
I think this is cool.
So I hope that in all of our storytelling and transparency that you really got the message that we are always trying to convey. It always starts with us. It always starts with us, because if we can have a good relationship with ourselves, if we can have a healthy is really important, healthy relationship with ourselves, then we'll be able to serve others well.
I shaded that.
Mm-hmm. So I think it's time for Book of the Week.
Book of the Week.
Book of the Week. So this week's book we have not read yet, but Samuel is very excited to dive into it for his book for November.
Yo, shout out to Norview High School, man. You know what I'm saying? The 757 in Virginia. You know what I mean? Norfolk, Virginia, that is. Yeah. Look at me. Fucking up the words. I said I wasn't going to curse.
We're going to have to bleep that.
Yo. Decentering Whiteness in the Workplace, a Guide for Equity and Inclusion, by a Norview's finest alum. You know what I'm saying? Oh, they want me to say the name. Go look it up.
Yeah, look it up.
I gotta tell you. I just told you the title. You know what I'm saying? It is going to be in the caption.
Yes, we'll put all the information in the caption. Janice Gassam Assar, PhD.
Janice, shout out to you. Shout out to Norview.
Yes, shout out to all the published authors doing their thing.
Yes.
It's so beautiful to see just someone else choosing to express themselves and share value in the literary space. It always brings some joy to my heart to know that, hey man, you got a story, you better put that thing in black and white.
Yeah, I can't wait to dive into this November. You know what I mean? To be exact, it is Scorpio season already, so we putting power in behind that. But Decentering Whiteness in the Workplace is going to be the book for November. We're going to continue to share books for books of the week.
Why don't you want me to read back the
I'm going to read it. Yeah, I'm going to read it. I just wanted to let them know this is going to be my book for November. You know what I'm saying? Or our book for November. You got another book? For November?
I don't think I have.
That's cool.
I do. Because I know this has been like super trendy, but I love a good book on Audible. And so the book that I'm going to be choosing on Audible I started it this month, but I think I only got dug into it for like 2 days. But it is, oh my gosh, let me go to it. It is Kerry Washington's new book. So It's her new book titled, see, I told you that I've only gotten to it for like 1 day, but it's called Thicker Than Water. So it is by Kerry Washington. It is a autobiographical book. And then the next book that I am going to get, some people might say something to me, but it's going to be Worthy by Jada Pinkett Smith. I'm excited to dig into it just from a standpoint of I really am somebody who likes storytelling. And no matter what you feel or think about her or her family or their situation or their dynamic, I love storytelling. So I'm excited to hear what she has put out in words. But for right now, I'm going to be listening to Kerry Washington's Thicker Than Water. You ain't got to
justify no reason why you like a book. Read that book because you want to read it.
There you go.
Feel me? That's it. Yo, Janice. A powerful expose of the ways that white culture and expectations are centered in the modern American workplace and the fears within corporate spaces about talking openly and honestly about whiteness, white supremacy, and anti-blackness. Creating a truly anti-racist organization requires learning how to identify and rectify the systemic and often unconscious centering of white culture and values in the workplace. Corporate America continues to struggle with racial equity. And as the world becomes more diverse and the public consciousness continues to shift, successful racial equity efforts are needed now more than ever. And that's what this book here aims to provide. Decentering Whiteness in the Workplace, a guide for equity and inclusion by a Norview's finest alumni. I'm so proud to say that, man.
Yeah, I know you are.
So proud, man. If you want to know more about Janice, you can actually go to her Instagram. She is a journalist, a speaker, a trainer, consultant, podcaster, and regular contributor to Forbes. That's right, Forbes. So definitely tap in with her. Again, this is the book for November for me. And yeah.
Thicker Than Water is the book for me.
Shout out to Kerry.
I'll probably listen to both in the month of November. I have to get back on my reading kick.
Be listening.
I listen to a lot. I love reading. I love page turners too. There's books that I want to go back and flip the pages through. But you know, we're in the car a lot. We drive a lot. Even when I'm out in the car by myself, I like listening to podcasts, so I like listening to my books too. So
yeah, I'm actually learning to speed read.
Really?
Yeah. Speed reading and retaining that information.
Yeah.
So you know that book that I just read last night or yesterday, 100 pages, read it
Really?
It was in PDF form, but read it cover to cover.
Yeah, I don't
Speed
know.
reading.
I like to let my words marinate.
No, I got you. I'm just, there's some books where it's like it's not really a story; it's more informative.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really on that. If it's a story though, it's like okay, I want to enjoy the ups and downs, the climax, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But those informative books, especially ones that talk about like true history, real history, I like to speed read and see if I can actually, retain how much I can retain.
He's always asking me like, "Did you know?" And then he'll tell me a string of information, and that tells me that I'm retaining all the information. Yeah.
So yeah, man. Shout out to you on audio land. Shout out to you in video land.
Mm-hmm. Again, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, subscribe to this channel, and follow us all over the internet. Sam Walker Inspo, the LG. And I have a new page that you can follow if you are a people pleaser who wants to ditch people pleasing and learn how to say no with love. It is called Live, Love, Work Well. So you can follow me at DLG_ or Live, Love, Work Well on Instagram.
I say, nah. That's what I say when I say no with love.
That's your version of no with love?
Nah.
And that's a great way to say. That's a great way to say no with love.
I'm just playing, man. I'm just playing.
But yes, that's where you can find us. And please check the description or podcast notes for our books of the week for this week. We thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for this great convo, love.
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And
continue to grow, continue to love. Continue to hold space for the people that you do love. Continue to forgive those who may or may not understood what they are doing or what they did to you. And continue to elevate yourself above all the madness. And most importantly, continue to be you. Continue to learn yourself. Continue to grow and water and nurture what's inside.
We'll see you in the next episode.
For sure.
Later.